Out of New Jersey, a 6-year-old in a wheelchair dies during a ride on her school bus. And now the bus monitor, who was hired to help protect her, is facing charges. And good afternoon to you. I'm Liz Chow.
I'm David Navarro. It is a difficult story to share with you, but prosecutors say for 3 minutes, the little girl desperately fought for her life, shrieking, gasping, kicking the window, all of that happening, they say, while the 27-year-old bus monitor was using her cell phone and wearing headphones. That bus monitor just made her first court appearance, charged now with manslaughter.
The details in this case are simply horrific. New Jersey reporter Anthony Johnson is live in Somerset with the latest. Anthony.
Yeah, Liz, this is almost a warning for any parent that puts their child on a school bus, including those who have special needs. You build a trust, a bond with the people that work on those buses, hoping that they will take special care of your child. That apparently did not happen in this case. And for the parents of this 6-year-old, the pain of loss is unbearable. The painful wails of a mother whose heart has been broken because of neglect.
I can't breathe.
This mother can't believe her 6-year-old daughter with special needs suffocated while riding in her bus to an extended school program on Monday morning.
She did not deserve this. To be taken away from us in such a way that it had nothing to do with her condition.
Faja Atia Williams was diagnosed with a rare chromosome disability called Emanuel syndrome when she was just 3 months old. She went through multiple surgeries and met every challenge with dignity and a smile. The 6-year-old was nonverbal but made sounds. No one saw her slump in her wheelchair after the bus hit road bumps or heard her struggle when the 4-point harness tightened around her neck prohibited the child from breathing.
I received a phone call from the school stating that my baby arrived non-responsive, and they immediately started to perform CPR.
The bus company, called Montauk Transit Services, used a new driver and school bus monitor for the extended summer program.
Mr. Villa, you are aware of the allegations contained in the complaint against you today, ma'am, correct?
Now the bus monitor is charged with manslaughter and child abuse. Amanda Devia is accused of being near the front of the bus, using her cell phone and listening with earphones, unaware Faja was suffering.
My daughter, she can't speak. She's helpless. She can't even take the harness off her own. She can't even take the seatbelt off. The only thing she's doing is moving her arms.
So Devia is now in jail here in Somerset County. She is expected to be back in court next Tuesday on July 25th.
The Gilgo Beach murder investigation has now spread to at least 4 states, including New Jersey. It's been 1 week since suspect Rex Heuermann has been arrested, and investigators to continue to go through his Massapequa Park home inch by inch. Police are looking into whether one or more of the 3 murders Rex Heuermann is charged with may have taken place inside the Long Island home he shared with his wife and children.
We're looking for potential trophies, souvenirs, jewelry, anything that could be attached to the 4 women or other women that he might have been involved with.
Suffolk County officials have executed several search warrants, including in South Carolina and Las Vegas, where the alleged killer had ties. Police in South Carolina are looking into whether a 2014 missing persons case could be tied to Heuermann. 18-year-old Aaliyah Bell went missing about 20 miles from where Heuermann owned land, but so far have found no connection. And Long Island investigators are actively working with Atlantic City Police to determine if Heuermann is involved in a string of unsolved killings of young women.
In the coming days, as we continue to gather evidence, anything's possible.
Heuermann remains behind bars and on suicide watch. A day after filing for divorce, an attorney for Heuermann's wife issued a statement saying the sensitive nature of her husband's arrest is taking an emotional toll on the immediate and extended family.
If you look at the worst of the serial killers, David Berkowitz, Ted Bundy, BTK in the Midwest, the ability to compartmentalize a family life where they appear normal, a work life where their encounters are typical, and then a very complex hidden life. A lot of work goes into it, and it is the hallmark of an organized killer.
Tonight, we've learned also that Heuermann's wife has not been permitted to come home, and all of the family's electronics have been seized. Police say his wife and 2 children are cooperating with the investigation. Women on the Upper West Side and whether they're connected.
Both incidents happened near Riverside Park, just days apart. CBS 2's Naveen Dhaliwal has the details.
New Yorkers rely on green space even into the night.
To exercise, just to go on walks with friends.
But for some, the peace is broken after hearing a 33-year-old woman was assaulted Thursday morning at 59th Street and Riverside Drive at 5 a.m. A man on a bike threw her to the ground and took off with her cell phone.
It's scary. It's scary.
Police say the suspect might be the same one who sexually assaulted a 38-year-old woman jogging on a bike path at West 89th and Riverside Tuesday around 10 p.m. A man on a bike pushed the woman to the ground and proceeded to sexually assault her.
They work late or they work odd hours, and they should be able to be free.
Now these attacks raising concerns for Madison Bullard. A few weeks ago, she was working out late, deep in the park.
This is way too isolated. I will not be out here that late. It could have been me, could be anyone.
Police say these 2 women were taken to the hospital for lacerations and bruises, and they're both expected to be okay.
The city is preparing to evict some asylum seekers from shelters to make space for families arriving with children. And as CBS 2's Jennifer Bisram reports, this comes as some are complaining about spoiled food at a Brooklyn shelter.
It's been 15 days since this mother and son left Venezuela. They're thankful the city placed them here at the Bayview Inn Motel in Brooklyn, but say at times they eat unhealthy, rancid food. In Spanish, she tells CBS 2 when rice is served, it looks spoiled, and other days just bread is given for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She asked us to not show her face out of fear.
Desayuno pan, almuerzo pan, cena pan.
It comes after reports of spoiled food being served at the motel turned shelter earlier this week. Bragg's Home Care Corps, which runs the city-owned shelter, told us actions are being taken to switch food providers. The city's Department of Homeless Services also confirmed to CBS 2 there was food that was smelling bad, but it has since been discarded, and staff is working to get the problem resolved. They gave us a statement that reads in part, protecting the health and safety of our clients is a top priority, and we are committed to investigating any reported concerns, verifying the facts, and taking appropriate action.
In Queens, looking for 2 men who held a female smoke shop employee at gunpoint. This happened just after 2 p.m. yesterday on 44th Street in Sunnyside. Now, police say that the pair pointed the gun at the 21-year-old woman while stealing more than $10,000 of merchandise. They took off in a 2014 Honda Accord with New York license plates right here. The woman, thankfully not physically hurt, but if you have any information, please call police. The NYPD investigating 2 separate attacks on women in the area of Riverside Park.
Police believe the attacks were committed by 2 different men. Fox 5's Briella Tomasetti has the very latest from the Upper West Side. Good morning, Briella.
Time of joy for a Houston family turns into unimaginable tragedy as a young mother-to-be is shot and killed.
Justice will come for my baby.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Zach Lajwe. Bill Barajas is off tonight. This is 21-year-old Autumn Valian. Loved ones tell us she and her unborn son were killed in the shooting early this morning at Margaret Jenkins Park. Tonight, they are sharing memories with KPRC2 reporter Corley Peel.
I spoke with Autumn Valian's mother and aunt, and they are heartbroken. They say she was 5 months pregnant and should be planning for her baby's arrival. But instead, HPD is investigating her death. A new job and a baby boy on the way. Autumn Valian had so much to look forward to.
Autumn was my perfect child. My God gift, the one I asked for. The one I begged God for.
On Saturday, Ebony Pickett Valian watched her daughter's world crumble. Valian and her unborn baby died in a shooting at Margaret Jenkins Park.
Seen everything, just didn't see what bullet hit my baby.
Investigators say it happened just before 1 a.m. during a birthday party. An argument led to more than 30 shots being fired. Valian's mother says her daughter was shot in the crossfire while trying to protect her.
She ran to me and said, "Mama, let's go. They got guns." Once someone told me my baby was hit, and I got to my baby and seen her lifeless, it was unbelievable. I just held her. wishing that she would breathe.
Instead of a baby shower, she's planning funerals for her daughter and the grandson she never got to hold.
Got it.
It's a somber morning here in Verdigris. We are at the house where this scene unfolded, just off State Highway 66. Now, police had just wrapped up the scene 12 hours after it all started. This all happened at the home on Dogwood Court in Cypress Street. OSBI tells us that Verdigris police came to the home yesterday afternoon after seeing fireworks outside. That's when officers discovered an armed person barricaded inside. Multiple law enforcement agencies then came to the house, filling the neighborhood with flashing red and blue lights. After a standoff, officers eventually went inside the home, where they found 3 children and a woman dead from gunshot wounds. We spoke to a woman who saw everything unfold and says it was an eerie scene.
The cops are leaving with long faces. They look defeated. They just look so upset. Like, everyone is just feeling upset.
She says it's sad to see something like this happen in a small rural country town, and it has her shaken.
Of a man and woman wanted for a terrifying attack. NYPD releasing this video of 2 suspects. They say it was yesterday morning near Franklin Avenue and Bergen Street in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, that the 2 repeatedly stabbed a woman leaving a building. Now she's in the hospital in stable condition, and there is no word on a motive. If you recognize the suspects, call police.
On a search for a suspect in the deadly shooting of an innocent 15-year-old in Gravesend, Brooklyn. The NYPD is looking for 17-year-old Leopold Nash of Brooklyn, seen on a security camera image. He's accused of firing the shots that killed 15-year-old Faridun Madlavnov, and who was walking with the group Monday afternoon on 20th Avenue when he was shot in the back. Police say the boy was not the intended target.
Searching for a group of accused robbing a man and the subway in Brooklyn. Now, this happened on July 8th, just before 4:30 in the morning at the Wyckoff Avenue station in Bed-Stuy. Police say the group knocked the man to the ground, put a knife to his wrist, starting to beat him, stole around $100, and then took off. The victim was taken to the hospital in serious but stable condition. Now, if you have any information, call right now.
It was a day that left many Portlanders confused. Police showing up at 3 different scenes across the area, all because of one man. Now, that suspect is dead, and police are still investigating, asking why this shooting happened.
Crime scene tape was up in Northwest Portland and in Gresham after 2 shootings that left 2 people dead on Saturday. Portland police first responded to Legacy Good Samaritan Hospital just before 11 in the morning.
Officers were told that there was somebody that may have a gun in the hospital.
And someone did, shooting and killing an unarmed hospital security officer, Bobby Smallwood, on the 5th floor near the birthing center.
Just disappointing and saddened that someone lost their life today.
Legacy says another staff member at the hospital was also injured during the shooting, but they are in stable condition. As officers from across the city descended on Northwest 22nd Avenue, police locked down the hospital, and they say the suspect left. Police evacuated the stadium Fred Meyer on West Burnside, searching for him.
And they determined there was no threat there.
A few hours later, officers found the suspect in a car about 15 miles away in Gresham. They stopped the car at Northwest 181st and Everett.
And she said, "You see it?" And then we turned in, and there was just cops and all of this everywhere.
There was a tactical effort there to negotiate with the suspect.
But during the confrontation, 3 Portland police officers fired, shooting and killing that suspect near the U.S. Bank on 181st.
Unfortunately, it's not a shocking experience.
Neighbors near the shopping center parking lot say crime and violence like this isn't unusual.
Honestly, not surprised.
Yeah. And as police cars began to drive off around 4:30, they say the problem is nothing is being done to stop the violence.
Gun violence, nothing has changed. Mental health, nothing has changed. Nothing's being addressed. I know as a parent, I would be very concerned.
In East Harlem to talk about this morning, police are searching for the gunman who shot and killed a 55-year-old man. Eyewitness News reporter Johnny Fernandez joins us live in East Harlem with the very latest right now. Good morning, Johnny.
Hey, good morning, Michelle. And this was a very scary scene for those that were here overnight. Now, police say that this man, he did not make it, but people that were here say that the response to save this man was within seconds. But of course, unfortunately, he didn't make it. But you can see right behind me that police are still investigating this scene overnight. But this was a video from overnight when police started their investigation. Now, this shooting happened over on 118th and Lexington Avenue. Police say focus their investigation around a blue electric scooter. They say that the 55-year-old victim was shot in the torso and leg. He was taken to a nearby hospital where he was pronounced dead. Now, residents in this area, including the district leader of the area, spoke out about the violence. Take a listen.
Between families in the Bronx ends with a woman in the hospital and 2 people in custody. Police say 2 groups got into an argument around 11:15 last night on East 175th Street in Crotona. A 23-year-old woman was stabbed several times. First responders rushed her to St. Barnabas Hospital. The victim is expected to survive. Police arrested 2 women who are now facing several charges, including gang assault and criminal possession of a weapon.
Inmate at Rikers Island has died, marking the 6th death at that jail complex this year. 44-year-old Curtis Davis was found unresponsive in his cell around 5 a.m. He was pronounced dead half an hour later. The medical examiner will now determine his cause of death.
Good evening, I'm Sandra Bookman. Joe has the night off. We are going to begin in Brooklyn, where that woman in a wheelchair was killed this afternoon. Police say an SUV hit her as she crossed the street. Now officers are trying to figure out what led to this deadly crash. Eyewitness News reporter Lucy Yang is at the scene in Kensington with the latest. Lucy?
Well, that's right, Sandra. We're on the corner of Webster Avenue and McDonald Avenue here in the Kensington section of Brooklyn. 1:30 this afternoon, there was a fatal accident at this intersection. Police investigators now trying to iron out exactly what happened. We want to show you images of what's left of the wheelchair. You can see it crushed in the street. Police report the woman in the wheelchair was fatally struck at this intersection. She was 68 years old, rushed to Maimonides Hospital where she was pronounced dead. Authorities say the driver of the Lexus, a 73-year-old woman, stayed at the scene. In fact, we have an interview with the driver's sister, Maureen Sardina, who says she was sitting in the front passenger seat. Maureen insists they did not hit the wheelchair-bound woman who was found under their SUV. She believes the disabled woman fell under their vehicle. Maureen says there is no front-end damage to the Lexus. Maureen also claims that when she came out to look, the victim was completely covered in cockroaches and foaming at the mouth.
I'm not retired nurse. I didn't even know if to start CPR because the police kept saying, do not touch her, do not touch her.
Maureen believes the woman was still alive for a while because she was able to shake her head in response to some questions at the scene. Maureen claims they didn't even know there was someone under their Lexus until another driver pointed it out. Such a troubling and confusing fatal accident. Police right now reporting the Lexus hit the wheelchair.